The Philippines finds itself at a pivotal moment in its history. The political landscape is shifting, and the nation is grappling with its past. The future hangs in the balance. Understanding the current political climate is crucial for every Filipino. The choices made today will shape the country for generations to come. The upcoming 2025 midterm elections carry immense weight. They present an opportunity for the Filipino people to make their voices heard. Will they choose a path of accountability and justice, or will they cling to the shadows of the past? The arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte has sent shockwaves throughout the nation. It is a stark reminder that no one is above the law, not even the most powerful figures. This event has ignited a firestorm of debate and speculation. This is a time of reckoning for the Philippines, a time for reflection, for action, and for hope. The decisions made in the coming months will determine the fate of the nation. The world is watching. On March 11, 2025, the world watched in astonishment as Rodrigo Duterte, the firebrand former president of the Philippines, was arrested in Manila. Once considered untouchable, Duterte now faces charges of crimes against humanity at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. His arrest marks a dramatic fall from grace for a leader who had cultivated an image of strength and impunity. Duterte's indictment by the ICC stems from his brutal war on drugs, a campaign that has claimed the lives of thousands of Filipinos. Launched in 2016, the war on drugs quickly spiraled into a campaign of violence and terror. Extrajudicial killings became commonplace, with police and vigilante groups operating with apparent impunity. The official death toll from the war on drugs stands at 6,200. However, human rights groups estimate the real number to be much higher, potentially reaching 30,000. The discrepancy in these figures underscores the climate of fear and secrecy that shrouded Duterte's signature policy. Duterte's arrest has sent shockwaves through the Philippines. For years, he enjoyed widespread popularity, particularly among those who felt he brought order to the streets. His supporters viewed him as a strongman who could tackle crime and corruption. However, his critics saw him as an authoritarian leader who eroded democratic institutions and trampled on human rights. The war on drugs casts a long shadow over Philippine society. It has left behind a trail of shattered lives and broken families. The brutality of the campaign has shocked the world, drawing condemnation from human rights organizations and international bodies. The ICC's decision to investigate Duterte and his administration is a testament to the gravity of the alleged crimes. The court's charges of crimes against humanity center on the systematic and widespread nature of the killings. Prosecutors allege that Duterte oversaw a state-sanctioned policy of extrajudicial executions, targeting suspected drug users and dealers. Edgar Matabato, a self-confessed hitman, has emerged as a key witness against Duterte. Matabato claims to have personally killed hundreds of people on Duterte's orders, dating back to his time as mayor of Davao City. His chilling testimony provides a glimpse into the dark underbelly of the war on drugs. The war on drugs was not just about eliminating drugs from the streets, it was also a tool to silence dissent and consolidate power. Duterte's rhetoric often targeted activists, journalists, and political opponents, creating a climate of fear and self-censorship. Duterte's arrest comes at a time of significant political change in the Philippines. The upcoming May 2025 midterm elections will determine the balance of power in the country, with all eyes on the race for control of the Senate and the House of Representatives. The political landscape has been reshaped by the breakdown of the once formidable alliance between Duterte and his successor, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. The two families, both with deep roots in Philippine politics, had joined forces in the 2022 presidential election, securing a landslide victory for Marcos and the vice presidency for Duterte's daughter, Sara Duterte. However, the alliance proved to be short-lived. Tensions arose over Sara Duterte's cabinet position and Marcos's divergence from Duterte's policies. Marcos has sought to mend relations with the United States and has taken a firmer stance against China's growing influence in the region, a departure from Duterte's more conciliatory approach. Section 5. Cracks in the Dynasty. The arrest of Rodrigo Duterte has exposed cracks in the foundation of the powerful Duterte political dynasty. For years, the Dutertes have held sway over the southern Philippines, particularly in their stronghold of Davao City. However, the patriarch's legal troubles have emboldened opponents and raised questions about the family's future. Adding to the family's woes, Vice President Sara Duterte is facing impeachment charges related to alleged corruption during her time as mayor of Davao City. The charges, brought by a group of lawmakers, accuse her of misusing public funds and engaging in cronyism. The impeachment trial, set to begin later this year, could potentially bar her from holding high office, dealing a significant blow to her political ambitions. The allegations against Sara Duterte stem from her alleged involvement in a controversial City Hall project. Critics claim that she awarded the contract to a favored contractor without proper bidding procedures. They also accuse her of inflating the project's cost, resulting in millions of pesos in losses for the city. The impeachment trial will be a major test for the Philippine justice system. It remains to be seen whether the proceedings will be conducted fairly and impartially, or whether political considerations will influence the outcome. Despite his legal troubles and the shadow of the war on drugs, Rodrigo Duterte remains a popular figure among many Filipinos. His supporters admire his tough-talking style and his willingness to challenge the status quo. They credit him with reducing crime and improving the economy. Public opinion remains divided on Duterte's legacy. While some view him as a hero who restored order to the streets, others see him as a ruthless authoritarian who trampled on human rights. The upcoming elections will be a referendum on his controversial rule. The outcome of the elections will depend on a number of factors, including voter turnout, the strength of the opposition, and the ability of the Duterte family to mobilize its base. The arrest of the former president and the impeachment trial of his daughter have undoubtedly shaken the family's grip on power. The Filipino people face a stark choice. Will they continue to support the Duterte brand of politics, with its emphasis on law and order and its disregard for human rights? Or will they choose a different path, one that prioritizes justice, accountability, and the rule of law? The arrest of Rodrigo Duterte and the charges against him at the ICC have brought the issue of justice to the forefront of Philippine politics. For years, victims of the war on drugs and their families have been demanding justice for the atrocities they have suffered. The ICC's involvement in the Philippines has been met with mixed reactions. Some welcome it as a necessary step towards accountability, while others view it as an infringement on Philippine sovereignty. Duterte himself withdrew the Philippines from the ICC in 2019 in an attempt to shield himself and his allies from prosecution. Despite the Philippines' withdrawal, the ICC maintains jurisdiction over crimes committed during the country's membership. This means that Duterte could still face trial in The Hague, even if the Philippine government refuses to cooperate. The ICC trial, if it proceeds, will be a landmark case for international justice. It will set a precedent for holding leaders accountable for crimes against humanity, even after they have left office. The arrest of Rodrigo Duterte, the impeachment trial of Sara Duterte, and the upcoming midterm elections have created a climate of uncertainty in the Philippines. The political landscape is in flux, and the future remains unclear. The country faces a number of challenges, including a struggling economy, persistent poverty, and widespread corruption. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated these problems, leaving many Filipinos struggling to make ends meet. The outcome of the elections will have a significant impact on the country's direction. A strong showing by the opposition could lead to greater accountability for past abuses and a shift away from the authoritarian policies of the Duterte era. However, a victory for the Duterte-aligned candidates would likely signal a continuation of the status quo. The Philippines stands at a crossroads. The choices made in the coming months and years will determine the country's future for generations to come. Despite the challenges facing the Philippines, there is also hope for a brighter future. The Filipino people have a long history of resilience and a deep commitment to democracy. The arrest of Rodrigo Duterte, while divisive, has demonstrated that even the most powerful figures are not above the law. The impeachment trial of Sara Duterte, regardless of its outcome, has highlighted the importance of accountability and transparency in government. The upcoming elections offer an opportunity for the Filipino people to make their voices heard and to choose a path forward for their country. Will they opt for a future defined by justice, human rights, and the rule of law? Or will they allow the shadows of the past to continue to darken their present and their future? The world is watching, hoping that the Philippines will embrace its democratic ideals and emerge as a beacon of hope in Southeast Asia.